Chilekupu. Obugo kere lukala. I na torogo mama. Le bendem garanga mugua. Obunde shila rapid television. Abia ro kamano la bom paretoka. Kamano la bom pa ife mbasaro menala. Madashi Chilekupu ojiro bia lejiwala. Nam sho biaranga ma bia bulem. Yange lampuku apply lazo. Ogo jila ineja nabata. Ogo no je la nani njire luo wan. Luo nani. Ogo na da njire da nabata we. Ogo no jila ineja nabata bia. An ma shi Chilekupu. Mpa biaruwa. Menye wo jaga we toje tatamma.
Sir.
I get toje tatudo.
Sir.
I get toje tato galihi.
Yes, sir.
Oge to Abia State ma.
Yes, sir.
Oge to Nigeria ma.
Yes, sir.
Na hankenna.
Yes, sir.
Na nkopara. Na nke monso.
Amen.
Aha.
As the sun rises, so do we rise from the east.
Cha 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 Igbo kwenu. Kwenu. Kwezono.
Eastern Circle.
Good morning, this is Eastern Circle on Rapid TV. Glad to have you join us on another beautiful episode where we bring you up to speed with recent happenings from this part of the world. My name is Adeze Egwim, and as always, I have the company of Michael here with me, but I think Michael has a plan of leaving me here sometime.
Very good morning to you and welcome to Eastern Circle. And my name is Michael Odem, and by the way, yeah, you look beautiful as always, and contrary to what you're saying, I don't have any plans of leaving. You are like the helpmate fit for me, eh? So yeah, we're doing this together. Eh?
All right, no problem.
It's a beautiful day to be on the show, of course, and I do hope you had a great night and you're ready to take on the day. By the way, have you gotten a bag of rice? Because I learned the like 20 trucks of rice.
I don't think Abia has gotten, and I don't think my hometown has gotten. Probably if I don't get from Abia, I'll get from Imo, so I'm hopeful.
That's the benefit of being a dual city. Okay. Interesting. Well, it's just a matter of patience because the trucks were just released to all the 36 states and the FCT. So we're hoping to get Abia portion. But then it's not for you, it's for the vulnerable. It's for the vulnerable ones.
Okay, so what happens to the rest of us?
You're not vulnerable. Are you vulnerable? Eh?
Michael, have you gone to the market recently?
Well, so you can even go to the market. Some people they don't even know the road to the market because what takes you to the market is, when you don't have
the
that.
little you have, when you try to manage it, it's becoming unbecoming. Because when you even try to manage, you can't even manage what you have anymore. I actually went to the market yesterday. I wanted to make a little vegetable sauce to eat rice with, since the tomato is now for the rich.
For the rich and powerful.
We try to make do with something else. And before now, I do bulk buying, but I wanted to just buy onion. Guys, how many bulbs of onion that was given to me for 500 naira?
It might be less than 5.
Bravo.
How big?
Medium size.
for 250 naira each.
Okay, and
Wow.
I didn't know what to do. And I was like, has it gotten to this?
Wow.
There is really problem in the land. So it's not about sharing bags
Bags
of
of rice, yeah.
rice. Now, if you get the rice, what are you going to use and eat the rice? Probably you will boil the rice and sprinkle red oil on it, and it's God help us in this country.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But I mean, it's commendable that the government is thinking about the welfare of the people, but then it doesn't cut it, sending trucks of rice to the states, because how long will you sustain that? How can you sustain sending trucks of rice to the states? Because and these are also probably an importation, of course, because we don't have grains in our storage facilities. In fact, the senators are saying that. In 2016, the then Minister of Agriculture, I think it was Audu Obe, also cried out that the silos, 33 of them, are empty and running out. Famine is about to hit the country, and then we don't have storage. In fact, and recently, just a couple of days back, the senators were also on the same matter, because you remember earlier this year, the president said release
Everything.
about 40 metric tons, release everything from the silos. The silos are
Empty.
silos are empty.
God help us.
Let's listen to the senators actually, because that's like emphasizing on what is obvious.
What are they talking about? Because we should be seen to be doing the right thing. We have really little or nothing in our food reserve across the country. And nobody should come and tell us they will distribute foodstuff from our silos. The silos are empty, Mr. President. So it means we have to import food. And if we have to import, it means we need foreign exchange. And that is scarce. We have to engage with administration. We have to help the administration. Mr. President, we are the most vulnerable in the leadership arrangements of this country, members of the National Assembly. Everybody looks up to senators or members of the House of Reps. In fact, people see senators like the messiahs. Any problem, they say, go for a senator. So if we don't take immediate action, and our citizens, under this situation of increased fuel price, increased electricity price, increased everything, and we are yet to get the right measures to provide cushions for our citizens, we wouldn't like the kind of thing that we see in our streets. And it is time that we take every possible action together with the executive arm of government to ensure that food flood our country, the right food. Importation, government must be entirely responsible, because we cannot take people for granted for too long. We have come almost to the end of their patience. And I think the elasticity is now going to snap if we are not careful. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
I mean, he mentioned something very, very, very instructional. You know, the people's patience are running out, and that's a dangerous thing. I mean, there is so much people can take. We're already seeing, he's talking about what not liking what will happen, what we see on the streets. It's already happening. I mean, a number of times we've seen people loot trucks of food. I mean, just a lot of crazy things that we're already seeing happening around, because the patience of the people are running out. And then Mr. Senator, you're not the most vulnerable. There are people who are very, very, very vulnerable in villages who cannot have good water to drink, let alone food to eat. Today, how many times have you seen your senator representing your constituency? How many times have you seen him to pressure him to do something for you?
I'll reserve my comment.
Okay. So it's crazy. We are already there. And we keep saying this. The country, we have vast natural resources, like land that we should take advantage of.
You know, before the inception of the raining season, here on Eastern Circle, we kept hammering or people getting back to the farm.
Yeah.
And it has gotten to that point where we have to invest more in our agricultural system.
Definitely. We
and
cannot overemphasize that.
not just investing in that, try to work on our post-harvest system so that we can have enough for our storage also. Not
Shabi is when
just-
people have eaten enough and there's
and when you
excess.
have enough from the
Eh,
farm, when you harvest
that
enough, you
you
have
not
excess
think
to
of
even
putting in the
store.
silos. The silos are
Exactly.
empty.
God help
Nothing
us.
there.
God help us.
Anyway, and just as we're talking about food and people being vulnerable and all of that, some other people are vulnerable to even their family members who get to treat them like all the bad words you can coin up to describe a situation. And we're talking about the story we are looking at this morning. It's a story about an old widow who was brutally beaten with a cutlass in Imo State. But good news is she's just about to get justice for the situation that befell her. But we'll talk about this shortly after the break. Good morning, don't go away.
As the sun rises, so do we rise from the east.
Cha 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 Igbo kwenu. Kwenu. Kwezono.
Eastern Circle.
You're still watching Eastern Circle. This morning, we look at the situation in Imo State being currently handled by the State Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Welfare about a particular widow who was brutally beaten with a cutlass by one Ukebu Chigozie Martins of Ezinihite Mbise in Imo State. With the support of Imo First Lady, the Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Welfare, Lady Nkechinyere Ugu, UNJP swung into action. The culprit has been rearrested for rearrangement in court today to make sure that justice is served. Meanwhile, a delegation from the ministry has visited the widow in an effort to protect her from further acts of violence and determine her immediate needs. Let's take a look at the video.
Relevant stakeholders, communities, town union, government, and the traditional rulers to look into this matter as a matter of urgency. How this poor widow is being maltreated. This poor widow is the uncle's wife of Ukebu Chigozie Martin, the son of Eucharia Ibe, that wants to buy his late uncle's wife because of properties in Umawada Onitsha of Ezinihite Mbise, Imo State. Honestly, I saw this video, I weep, I was like, why? Does it mean that when you talk about domestic violence, gender-based violence, it boils down on women? Women are the one that suffers it most. For crying out loud, why would this young man be beating this woman with machetes like this? What would he do if he meets his own fellow men out there? This is an old woman, for Christ's sake. Things are hard. You don't even know if this woman ate last night or not. And you are beating her up like this as if she's your mate? For crying out loud, there is need for justice. Honestly, Imo State government look into this matter as a matter of urgency if you want to address this and put a stop to it. Commissioner of Ministry of Women Affairs I really want to call upon you now to attend to this issue as a matter of urgency.
You don't do that.
Wow. Just wow. Like, seriously. When I saw that video a couple of days back, it was just heartbreaking. Really, really heartbreaking. So, but first of all, I think we should just get started from the good news. This particular young man has been rearrested because from what we learned, he was initially reported to the authorities, but for whatever reason, that case did not go as planned. So as it is right now, he has been rearrested, and the woman in question actually has also been identified by the Ministry of Women Affairs in Imo State, and she's been taken care of. So and the son as well. So that's heartwarming. All right, it kind of reminds me what's going on in Anambra State. At least there, the Ministry of Women Affairs there as well. They happen to be active, especially from what we can see recently. But then, looking at this situation, like you see what happened in the society, and most times it just goes unnoticed.
Michael, this particular incident really surprises me because looking at that video, I could see youths standing and even holding the woman's
they're begging
son.
him. Like, I don't get it.
Why don't you allow the guy to actually go help his mother in the first place? And it's like this guy is a tyrant in the village and nobody can actually stop him. And while growing up, I knew that there are certain rules and regulations. There are certain things that can actually be handled in the community before it actually gets to the higher authorities, probably the security or the local government or state itself. Now, how would a village head or even the umwadas or the youths of this particular community sit and fold their hands and watch this particular thing happen? The story is that there is a land dispute.
Property issue.
Good. Whatever it is it wise that this guy takes laws into his hands? Shouldn't he have reported to someone who should take it up? Why try to hurt this woman? What if you kill her in the process of flogging her with that cutlass? What happens?
Because obviously the traditional institution as we know it is no longer what it used to be. It has lost its taste. I mean, back then, these are the kind of things that you see, and it's called a taboo in the land.
Exactly.
And then when this guy is taken to the Council of Traditional Council of Elders, I mean, he will have to answer for it, and the punishments most times could be very, very stringent. So, and he had the effrontery to do this type of thing, and with all impunity, out in the open, on the road, people are there, even trying to beg him to take it. He's like, what the hell?
Even if the woman did something wrong, I don't think that doesn't
whatever
have
the
a
woman
mom.
may have done, whatever she may have done. So, it's just a whole lot. All right, the traditional institution has failed. And to a great extent as well, the government also have a hand in this, because I believe, I mean, for sanity's sake, for the sake of things working properly, there should be a system that caters for the senior citizens of every state. There should be a system. In fact, I believe personally there should be a system of enrollment. At certain age, you get to be identified, and the government. That's why we have the Ministry of Social Welfare, right? So they should be able to, once in a while check on these senior citizens to make sure they are doing okay, because it boils down to those whose family are doing well.
Exactly.
If you have children and grandchildren who can look after you when you are that old. So if that's not the case, and if you also did not make enough money to give yourself comfortable life when you're old, then what happens?
Exactly. What the government just does is probably at the end of the month, if you were in the civil service, once you get your pension, their hands are off you. And that would also make you as an individual while you're still young. I have this friend, he keeps telling me that he doesn't want to rely or depend on anyone when he gets old.
When he gets old,
he always tell me that if I get old, I would want to be able to take care of myself. If my kids want to do anything for me or want to give me anything,
totally
good and fine.
Yeah.
If they're not able to, I wouldn't want to bother them. So let's make that plan, not being dependent on anybody, not our kids. I know our culture says we'll train our kids so that when we're old, they will be able to look after us. Yes, we agree to that, but always make plans for things like this. Let's assume this woman had other plans, or probably she has a house somewhere else, and when this issue gets to this point, what she will do is to just move out from, if it's the husband's house that they are dragging, she'll move somewhere else for her peace and for her life. So it's advisable as you're working, try start making your retirement plan so you don't depend on either the government or your family entirely.
And then we talk about the justice system. All right. Yes, we have the laws. I keep saying we're not bereft of laws. We are, in this country, we have a bunch of them. The VAP Act, for instance, Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, that came into play in 2015 during Goodluck Jonathan's administration. It's been there, and it clearly states, even though I feel some of these stipulations might be a little like a pat on the back, but the laws there clearly state what happens to whatever situation. Like this one where you intentionally, batter someone. It's clearly stated there. You go to jail, or you pay. The fine part is what I don't like. You pay a fine of about 200,000 or 100,000 in some cases. Like some people could afford to just batter someone and pay the fine. So if you could just take that.
They can even brag about it and tell you, is it not 200,000?
And some people do it. They say they some people tell you that they've set aside money
to deal
for
with
the case. They will put money aside and deal with you.
Exactly.
But if the system clearly said that if you do something like this, you go to jail. You go there, spend some years until your head calms down, so that next time when you see a human being, you understand the sanctity of human life. And that talks about also how barbaric we human beings have become. Like, imagine even in the process of using the cutlass, and then it cuts the human being, because you're wielding a cutlass like it's not cane, it's not wood, it's cutlass. For crying out loud.
I just think that particular Obuna, or what his name is, not a nice person in that community. For him to have been arrested and released without anything done to him, and I'm glad the Ministry of Women Affairs.
First of all, he needs to have his head examined, because I totally believe that guy is not normal. I mean, that he's obviously not normal. Like this is a barbaric act in all entirety. So I just wish that the justice system we have in the country would be very effective in the case that in this situation whereby when things like this happen, a lot of other people who feel that they don't have ears to hear, they would learn. Because when you notice that Mazo Kono's son, for beating his grandmother, went to jail for 2 years, he was there for 2-3 years, then you would restrain yourself, even no matter how you think your head is hot. When you want to do something next, you restrain yourself. And then also we should do a lot more to communicate these judgments to the general public. We should have more of them appear on social media and on the mainstream media, so that people get to see that yes, the justice system is working, and you could pay for your crime.
Exactly, not just the justice itself. Sometimes when these things happen. Just imagine this lady wasn't with her phone when this thing was going on to
capture,
record.
right?
What would have happened? And probably when you bring it up and they'll tell you there's no evidence, you have nothing to prove.
That I think is the
that's
painful
one
aspect of it.
problem of
That is the reason why some of these things go unnoticed and
Exactly.
people get away with
With it.
serious crimes. Well, thank God for the gadgets and devices.
I'm telling you.
all right? Because I don't think there is any amount of explanation or narration you would do with word of mouth that would have given a clearer picture
Of what
than what
happened.
we just saw.
Exactly.
It's
So
very painful
it is.
and should never happen to anyone.
It shouldn't. It shouldn't. Not even your enemy.
Anyway, so we keep our eyes on that matter to ensure that we follow up and see to what happens to that young man after a court judgment. I hope they don't get to adjourn anyway for one reason or another. I just hope that the justice works swiftly, put sentence where it is appropriate, and let whoever has committed a crime start serving their punishment
Exactly,
immediately.
and him receiving judgment would serve as deterrent to others.
Definitely.
If there are people in that BC that are planning, or any other local governments in BC that are planning any such thing, would deter from it.
And to be frank, this is not an Imo State thing generally.
Exactly.
Like this is happening across board. Many parts of the country,
I had
these things
There was
happen.
one I heard last week. There was a grandchild that beat up the grandmother because it was because of food.
You can imagine that.
Exactly.
You can imagine that. So we don't want to see these things happen at all. And kudos once again to the Ministry of Women Affairs, Imo State. We want to see other states get active. This is the positive side of social media as far as I am
Exactly.
concerned. I
Exactly.
would want to see every other time the activities of ministries like this.
On the social media.
Yes, who cater to situations regarding the vulnerable people. Because every day you wake up, your legs are fine, your body is fine, you could eat and you could go to work. You don't know what other
others are
people, what a
going
lot
through.
of people are going through.
Exactly. It's a commendable thing that they're working. And Anambra State, they've been working, and I pray that other states will follow
Exactly,
suit and
definitely.
do the same.
We want to see that across board.
All right, that's the size of our package this morning. Thank you for always joining us. We'll take you back to our Abuja studios right now for the rest of Rapid Done. See you tomorrow.
Good morning.
As the sun rises, so do we rise from the east.
Cha 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 Igbo kwenu. Kwenu. Kwezono.
Eastern Circle.